Rally Fleet. This is Esper. Looks like we've got a bit of crevice corrosion on one of the through deck fittings, so a bolt has come off. This is for the forward stay on the mizzen.
The shroud.
So what I'm now going to try and do is use a spare one. Now I've got to take all the headboards down to get to these, so I'm afraid this is going to take a while. Sorry about that, guys.
Supposed to be leaving this morning, and just as I was bringing the anchor up, I heard a shout from Jamie that one of the chain plates is loose on deck, and of course it's come through at the most inconvenient place, so we're now opening up the heads in the galley to see what's going on behind. Let's have a look. Any comments?
It's actually the forward shroud of the mizzen mast, and it comes down into here, which is behind this gas box, which we don't use anymore. But I'm just going to take the headboard down and this out. It's fucking sheared off. The bolt, so it's basically a U-bolt that goes down through the deck and into the galley, and it's literally sheared off. This will be crevice corrosion probably. It's a big ass chain plate. The chain plate itself, so the chain plate's the bit that's inside, is okay. Or a support, I suppose. I think the chain plate is incorrect because the whole fitting isn't going through the deck. It's the U-bolt above which goes through the deck, but that's then bolted onto another upside down U-bolt inside. And
is it the inside one or the outside one that's sheared?
It's the outside one.
Okay, so my suggestion is that we have one next to it which is not being used.
Yeah, good idea. Let's see if we can knock something up. So that's 90mm. I'm just checking to see.
That one I meant, because you're using this one. That one.
It doesn't matter, either one. So these are the same size. So we could try swapping over. We've got a spare through deck fitting, so we could try taking that one out and putting this one in, swapping them over. We'll have to give that a go.
How long is that going to take?
Absolutely no idea.
So we let the rest of the fleet know that we're here then?
Yep.
Although the other deck fittings were the same size, they were the incorrect length, so Ian of Icy Red volunteered to go into town with Jamie to see if they could either repair or replace the corroded fitting.
So a quick update, Ian has very kindly come in with me. In fact, he came over this morning to have a look at the fitting, and he knew of a marine shop, I suppose you could call it, a chandlery with stainless steel fittings. It seems as if they're actually the dealer for some well-known brands, but he's not yet open, as you can see, shutters are still closed, but we can hear movement and activity inside, unless that's coming from upstairs. So yeah, we just got to wait until he opens to see what we can do with this fitting.
In an ideal world, we should be getting a new fitting made, but with our Malaysian visa running out, time wasn't on our side, so a temporary fix would be to weld new bolts to the plate.
Okay, so we have the parts, which is, I suppose in a way, that's almost the easier bit. Now what we've got to try and do is see if we can find someone who is willing to weld those new bolts onto the old plate, which is the solution that we've agreed upon, suggested by Ian of Simply Red. Sorry, Icy Red. The first place we're going to try is the Navy base, which is next door to the yacht club, so we'll see if there's anyone in there that may be able to help. So we're now at the Marine Police, which is next door to the yacht club, so our boats are anchored literally just outside. and we figured they've got big haul out facilities, they've got rows and rows of outboards, and they even looked like there was a mechanic working down there. So we just asked if we can use their facilities. Of course, immediately they said no, because we just looked like two randos walking in off the street. And then we explained, of course, we're with the boat and we're with Escom, and that perhaps they do know of a workshop here. So he's just phoning through to see if he can find someone that may be able to help. Okay, the Marine Police couldn't help because the manager is in a meeting, and obviously they need to get the manager's permission. So originally they had actually said no straight away, but when we explained we're on the boats and we're trying to leave, that's when he then tried to contact his manager. Anyway, we're now going to get a grab and go up to the industrial area where there are some workshops, so fingers crossed. We're now in the industrial area of Sandakan. Very noisy here. I'm sorry, I'm on the phone, so the audio's not very good. But we've just been to Phong Seng, which is a big hardware store, and they said the place literally right opposite should do this. Ian's just had a look and he said they were closed, but these guys reckon they're open, so we're just going to go and knock on their gate, see if they can open up for us. Hello. Okay, that was unsuccessful. That shop over there was closed, but the lady in Feng Song hardware store has given me a couple more places to try. So there's another two workshops, one just there, one just there. So that's what I'm going to do now. I've got to find Ian though. Ian's gone for a wander looking for other workshops, and I don't know where he's gone, so just bear with me. I was just thinking though, this is not the first time we've done this. I mean, literally the first year that we bought Esper in Turkey, we were introduced to this concept of having to find workshops in unfamiliar places and getting through the language barrier to try and get things repaired. And this is part of boat ownership, boat maintenance, and fixing things in an emergency. It really does throw you into the unknown, but it's nice to have Ian with me. Not that either of us could speak much Malaysian Bahasa, but it is, of course, very useful having very helpful, friendly locals who are willing to help out wherever possible. Right, let's go and check out these other hardware stores.
Yes. Manufacturing. Yes. Okay. Yep, right place.
Jamie and Ian are finally directed to the right workshop, a stainless steel specialist. Despite the language barrier, they explain that they want to cut off the old bolts and weld new ones.
Well, we found the workshop. I don't actually know if you can even hear me because it's so noisy, but look at this. Nice big workshop. That guy there says he can do it, and he's straight on the job. So if anyone can do it, these guys can. So it turns out when Ian went for a wander, he bumped into some guy who recommended a stainless shop at the same time that I got a recommendation from the girl in the other shop, and it's the same place. It's this place. It's called ST Stainless Steel Works, and as you saw, straight away they jumped straight onto it. He took it and said, "Yep, we can do this." So yeah, it's worth persevering. We got there eventually. It is, I think it's just gone 10 o'clock, half 10 in the morning. So of course we were weighing anchor at 6:30 in the morning. So, you know, in the space of 4 hours, we've got this far. So hopefully, all things working out, we can get this thing fitted this afternoon and we'll be away tomorrow. Of course, one of the interesting things is our lack of Malaysian and their lack of English. He said, I speak no English. So Ian's main concern is the strength of that weld. Fortunately, on the top side of that plate, there's also a weld, so we could say to him, same, this weld, same as this one. We then showed him a photograph of Esper and explained what the deck fitting was for, and just said, big strong weld. And he's done it Ian is a very experienced mechanic and he's done plenty of welding, so he knows what's what, and he's just been eyeing up his handiwork. As you can see, with advanced state of health and safety, his goggles is a piece of ply and a bit of plastic cut into a letterbox shape, and he's holding up this piece of wood to look through. But Ian says that he appears to be doing a very good job, so again, fingers crossed. That's all we can do under the circumstances. That's it, done. You won't be able to see the detail here, but the weld underneath is a pretty good weld. He's copied the weld on the top. Obviously this is not perfect, and in fact we did ask them if they could make a new one, and they said they could quite easily, but it would have taken a day to fix, to make, so we just don't have time for that, unfortunately. But good to know that if we ever come back through Sandakan, we know exactly where to go. That's ST stainless steel. So job done. It's now, it's just gone 11, so we get a grab back and get straight on the boat and try and get this fixed. Back on the boat, and I've just put the fitting through the deck. It fits. It actually fits. That's good. One thing I've noticed is that one of the bolts is very close to the chain plate, and I was a bit worried that I couldn't do the nut on, but it does just about get on. I can just about get a purchase on that nut to tighten it up, I hope. Might be a bit tight as we pull it down and it all lines up, but anyway, so the next thing now is I just need to clean up the deck area and apply some more butyl tape onto this before then bolting it up. Well, I managed to put the deck fitting back in, and I've tightened the bolts, and I've even put the rigging back on, but in the process of checking the mizzen mast to check that it was true, I stepped on a little aluminium rail here and I've now sliced my toe. So we're taking a break whilst Nurse Elizabeth tends to my sliced toe before getting back to finishing the job off. So deck fittings are back in place. I say deck fittings because I'd actually taken out another fitting thinking that perhaps I could use that one, but the bolts that go through the deck were too short. So although they're the same shape and size and dimensions, the bolts had been cut down to fit under the roof, because the ceiling, sorry, of the galley, because the ceiling has to go back up. So I've just fitted that one back up as well, and everything seems to be okay. Of course, the real test is going to be when that mizzen mast starts pumping when we're sailing. But under the circumstances, I think that's the best we could do. So basically, very big thanks to Ian of Icy Red, who we've known for years, and he's an extremely knowledgeable mechanic. And I was chatting to them this morning about welding, and of course he's had a lot of experience with welding as well. So it was nice to have his expert eye just sort of look over my shoulder and just check the workmanship of ST stainless steel, as we've come to know them. So yeah, that's it. It's now 12:30. All I've got to do now is just put everything back in the galley to get that ceiling back on. But we're done. So that was us weighing anchor at 6:30 this morning, and we had literally 10 meters left of chain to get up before we'd weighed anchor, and that's when I spotted it. So yeah, 6:30 through till 12:30. It's not badly done, is it, under the circumstances? So yep.